Okay, everyone. So the fourth episode of RuPaul's Drag Race was actually called Queens Behind Bars. The theme here was that the queens have to dress up and kind of act in a sitcom, playing felons behind bars. This hit a little close to home for Latrice Royale, who did actually spend years in prison. So I don't think this idea was a laughing matter to her. Alright, so I'm going to have to be careful because my cat is trying to eat the cord on my new laptop, but the episode was also where we saw Sharon Needles and PhiPhi Ohara, the feud between those two, really intensify. Sharon is correct in that she represents a new form of drag, something that really hasn't caught on before, and PhiPhi does represent old school drag. I mean, it is true. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just that I think that she does remind me a lot of Alexis Mateo. You'll remember last year was accused of being just a pageant queen, a regional Florida drag queen. And it was used as a reason why Alexis should be second runner-up, not first runner-up or even winner last year. Now, PhiPhi is flawless in beauty, but hasn't won a main challenge yet. I mean, the judges have even said she looks old, and she's always been safe. She's never really been a top-tier candidate. Season that seems unconventional, RuPaul and the other judges, it does seem to have embraced the oddness and uniqueness of Sharon Needles in a way that other queens in previous seasons they haven't embraced. Like Mimi on First was considered too camp. Tammie Brown was funny like Sharon Needles, but she wasn't considered pretty enough to win. Now, PhiPhi is correct in saying that she deserves to be there because she is flawless. Sharon is correct in saying she deserves to be there because she's flawed. I mean, there's just a difference in styles there, and opinions that kind of make this a dynamic, mesmerizing feud to watch. I mean, I've seen fans get riled up so much in a way that the Heathers and Boogers from last season could only dream of. Die-hard fanatics, and you have to spell this with a PH at the beginning, like PhiPhi. That's what her fans call themselves. The Needlers is what I've termed Sharon Needles fans. They have strong opinions on YouTube, just like the queens do in the workroom. I try to straddle the fence, but I don't know. I like them both, but let's face it. The show would not be the show without PhiPhi. Not so much as on the runway as in the workroom, because last week no one claimed the title of being the hottest man in the workroom in boy clothes than Jeremy. I mean, that's PhiPhi's real name last week. He was dressed like a Hollister boy, Abercrombie model. I mean, I don't know what the label was that he was wearing, but I mean, he looked pretty hot. We haven't really seen him with his shirt off in the workroom. We've seen Sharon and the princess take their shirts off. We really haven't seen PhiPhi, but I don't think he has muscles like an Abercrombie model. But, I mean, he does look very nice. I mean, I also realize that editing gives us just one side of the diamond with PhiPhi. There's a whole other different look to her, depending on how you look at her. Week 1, she was a bitch. Week 2, she was a motherly figure. And last week, I think she was a hypocrite. They said she was the leader of the team, and she was stressing out, you know, about the group. At least that's, you know, she says that it was Sharon was the one that was doubting the group. But, I mean, it seemed based on the editing that it was he that was the one that was doubting the group, not her. And the stress was over the situation caused Sharon to react with insecurity. Perhaps off camera, at least before the editing and everything was complete. Maybe it was Sharon that was freaking out, and he was simply responding to her aggravation as a lack of belief in the group. Certainly possible, but I mean, until both of them come to this channel and post a reaction to this video, we're not going to get, you know, both sides of the story. It appears, based on editing, that PhiPhi was the one who was being a bitch again this week. But, you know, things are edited, so we don't really know what actually went on with the cameras not rolling 24/7. Alright, anyway, back to this episode. Chad asked Sharon how it feels to be the winner again, twice over. And Sharon continues to throw shade at PhiPhi by telling us that she thought she would actually go home early, owing to the fact that the pageant queens would probably seem to win everything and look down on her. Now, the mini challenge was for a mugshot challenge, and it's a pairs competition again. Now, Willam and Madame LaQueer end up with probably the most inventive idea. They actually use this blue paint to indicate that it's like a blue dye pack that the banks put in the money. So they basically robbed a bank. It's inventive, but I think it went over a lot of people's heads. And they ended up winning this challenge because of that. Now, Sharon Needles and Chad Michaels, they were, again, the two best overall performance queens up until this point. They ended up as partners again, and they were pretty funny. Chad even falls, and I don't think it was scripted. I don't think they meant for it to happen, but it was pretty funny. Especially when RuPaul said, "You might need a breathalyzer, honey." Now, Jiggly, as usual, was very boring. I don't even think she even got the point of the challenge. It just looked like she was going to a party, not prison. PhiPhi was hilarious. I mean, she can go from beautiful to butt ugly in a flip of a hat. So, I mean, she kind of looked like half of my family back up in West Virginia. Thought for a moment it was one of my cousins, but Kenya was pretty funny too. Now, Milan looked like this was just a normal character for her. And Latrice looked like she crawled off the set of The Walking Dead. Now, the winners of the mini challenge, like I said, ended up being Willam and Madame LaQueer. Not so sure I agree with this. I mean, they did do a very inventive idea. But for the overall look, I think PhiPhi and Kenya were a lot funnier and were a lot better for this challenge. The sitcom challenge was called Hot and Tuckahoe. And it was, you knew right away that it was better suited to Milan and Chad. And also Willam, who had careers in Hollywood. So the team captains got to draw names this time. They didn't get to choose their partners. But they did get to choose the roles. Sharon immediately started directing Kenya on how to say her lines. And Milan was watching this and didn't seem happy. She's total hypocrite. Total hypocrite. Because she turns to Madame LaQueer and was like, "Are you going to let her be director?" But it seemed like Kenya was more comfortable with Sharon giving her her lines than she was last week when Milan was the one that was stepping over her all the time. It's like Milan didn't have Willam to step over this time, and Kenya seemed to like Sharon better, and that made Milan uncomfortable. But it didn't take long before Madame LaQueer and Milan were at each other too, because Milan was critiquing her, telling her, "Oh, don't use that accent, I think it's distracting." It's the same thing you said about Kenya last week. I think there's a problem there. But Latrice and her group gets to be a prison guard. She's not a prisoner. She actually had experience being in prison, so probably was a welcome change. Jiggly had a problem with the word horticulture. Ugh. I'm having a hard time with the word now. But I can usually say the word. I'm not able to say it tonight. But Jiggly thinks it's an SAT word. But back over at the other group, Milan was just... she was trying to take over again as director, but wasn't having too much success. Willam, over in her group, was dropping names left and right. She, was worked with Sex and the City, so this was her niche. Now, Max Muchnick is the director of the sitcoms that they're going to be acting in. He was also the director of Will and Grace. And Willam tells us that he actually auditioned in front of Max before and didn't get the part, so he was eager to give this a second chance. Didn't go quite well between Willam and Max. The acting was absolutely terrible. Ugh. Jiggly didn't take direction very well. Then Max does the ultimate faux pas as far as Willam is concerned, when he calls Willam William. There's no extra I in Willam. Drop the I. It irritates the hell out of Willam. So Willam starts throwing shade back with a sarcastic bite to Max, and RuPaul actually ends up calling Willam William, and Willam just takes it, and Max is like, why don't you say something to Ru when Ru actually calls you William? And Willam basically says, hey, this is RuPaul's show. And he writes the check, so I'm not gonna throw shade at the head of the show. Now, a couple weeks ago, though, when Willam was safe at the end on the runway, Willam just said bye and walked off. Didn't say thank you or anything. So I thought that was throwing shade at Ru a couple weeks ago, but maybe it was just my opinion. Okay guys, so I'm actually going to have to switch to my webcam right now on my computer because my iPhone is busy, but I will pick it up from here. Just one moment. Alright. So, in the other group, we go back to the other group and see them practicing, and Sharon is totally screwing up her lines. She's actually protesting Max that the line that she has to deliver is too difficult. Now, Kenya can't seem to take stage direction well at all. She was holding her nose when she was supposed to be saying she loved the smell, and she kept clapping in front of her face. Everybody was making fun of that a little bit later on Untucked, but Milan couldn't figure out the difference between a mama's boy and a country boy. Madame LaQueer couldn't figure out the difference between a Virgin Mary and a Bloody Mary. Seemed like the only one in that group that Max liked was Dita. But back in the workroom, the topic of pageants comes up again, and PhiPhi reminds us again that every day is a pageant for her. Sharon starts to feel bad and remorseful about what she had said on the runway about PhiPhi not being a good leader, so she actually approaches PhiPhi to clear the air about what she had said. Now, PhiPhi uses as her excuse for telling, Sharon to throw on some powder on her face is because she thinks that Sharon is good at it. Now, at this point, I just had to pause my DVR and collect my thoughts for a moment. Remember, I like both of these characters, but yes, it's true that Sharon is good at that type of look, but PhiPhi has publicly said that it's the only thing that Sharon is good at. So it's not exactly a compliment, PhiPhi girl. I mean, when fans accused you of putting Sharon in a box last week, who got upset? You did. You said that it was not the case at all, but honey, that's exactly what you're doing. Exactly what you're doing. Okay, maybe the fans in Chicago will buy the excuse, but fans outside of Chicago will see it for what it is. It's best just to accept it, move on. You stereotype people in a way that makes you look bitchy and hypocritical. At least that's how the edit looks. It's not critiquing someone like we reviewers do, where we say, oh, well, we liked when they said this, but not when they said that, or I like what she wore here, but definitely not what she wore there. You just blatantly look down upon some people because you think pageant queens are better at doing drag than camp queens, than goth queens, than any other type of queen other than what you do. Yeah. Every time I get a serious moment in these videos, my cat is doing something strange. Alright, anyway, I unpause the DVR. It goes back to PhiPhi, reminding Sharon that she won the challenge last week. Thanks to me, she says. Now, Sharon got this look on her face like this poor, abused little gay kid does in high school when being bullied by the jocks, the pretty boys. And PhiPhi just takes it one step lower and reprises Milan from last week on Untucked, when she says that Sharon isn't even at the same level as her and a step away. Hold on. I had to pause the DVR again because I was about to get upset. Now I'm talking directly to you now, Jeremy. You, as PhiPhi, said in your preseason cast bio interview that you wanted to be an inspiration to the gay kid who doesn't think they're worth anything, they aren't beautiful. You want to be a voice, an inspiration to the GLBT community. But the people that can't be themselves. And then you act like this. You could be reaching out to people like Sharon. I mean, that's who you claim your target audience is, but it sounds like smoke and mirrors to me. Okay, when other RuPaul YouTube viewers started calling your interview pageant-worthy last week, you took issue with that, saying that you really meant it, and you had an issue with people saying that you came off as too fake or too pageant-worthy. Those same YouTube reviewers, actually, that you went to their page and commented on their use of the word pageant-worthy, well, they've told me directly that they made their reviews on their first impressions of you after having seen my YouTube review. So you can thank me for them using that terminology about you. When you can't tell people that they are less than you are when you have been bullied as well, Jeremy. That's all I'm saying. Now, the edit on Untucked, you were painted in a better light. But, like I said, it's just the editing is what we see. Okay, unpause DVR. We go back to the runway. Make this short because PhiPhi was beautiful. Dita was beautiful. Madame LaQueer was okay, but the outfit was the same color that last week Michelle Visage said she hated, that it looked like fungus. Well, Willam went with beauty this time instead of sexy, and it actually worked. And Kenya looked exotic and beautiful as always. Milan was actually pretty stunning in her outfit. And Sharon actually looked very beautiful too. It was not a goth look. It was very, very exquisite. And it ended up that Madame LaQueer and Milan were in the bottom two. Now, Milan did excellent in the lip sync, but Madame LaQueer just up there, and she was just like pointing. They talk about that on the show. She's just pointing. So right now I'm 3-1 on my preseason predictions about who I thought would go home in the first 4 weeks. My only miscalculation is putting Elisa Summers in the top 4, and she actually went home over Jiggly Caliente in week 1. So 5 weeks in, I think I've done pretty good, because Madame LaQueer went home this week. Now, the next 5, I believe, in no particular order, I think Jiggly will have to go into that group because I got it wrong the first week. And I think Latrice will actually be in the top 4 now. And I think the next 5 to go will be Milan, Dita, Kenya, Jiggly, and PhiPhi. And that's my opinion on that. Let's go back to the webcam.